everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So now today we are going to start out the PLOTLY library. We are going to see that how we can use out the PLOTLY library for doing out the exploratory data analysis. So till now we had completed out the Seaborn, we had completed out the matplotlib. Now it's a turn for going on with this particular library. Right, so let's get started here. And today the very first thing that we are going to do is okay, just one second, let me delete this out, and we are going to make out some data, and with that help of data we are just going to make out some plot. Let's see that how it goes. So let me just put out here the heading that we are going to do, and that is I'm just going to make out the first of all my favorite of the plots, that is bar plot. Okay, fine. Now till now you are very much familiar with the Seaborn and the matplotlib library. Now the PLOTLY library which we are having, it's a little bit of different thing for taking a data set which is already present onto a PLOTLY library. So what I'll be just doing here is that I'll be taking out a data set which we already have onto the PLOTLY library, and I'll be proceeding on plotting out the plots onto that particular data only. Right. So for doing out that thing, my very first thing that I just need to put out here is that I need to use out this library, right? So I would just write import plotly.express, EXPRESS as PX. Now plotly.express. Now plotly is one of my libraries that I would be using, and what is this express? It is a kind of basically you can say a high level wrapper which is we are having for the plotly. Okay, so we just use plotly.express together. So I would just write import plotly.express as px, and this is how you'll be importing out this library. And px is basically the short form which you have given onto this particular library. Right, hope you just got the idea what I would just wanted to say here. After this, as I mentioned, that we'll be taking out a data set that is already onto the PLOTLY library. So what I'll be doing here is that I would be simply using that data set only. So in that case, I just do not need to download the data set or put data set at any place, because that already works online, right? So how will I be doing that thing? I would be just writing here, let's say data. Okay, data is equal to, first of all I'll be writing out here as px. Now what is this px? Px is my plotly.express library which I'll be using out here, right? So px dot, I'll be putting out here px dot data. Now data is one another function which is in the px library, and that helps me to take out some data which is already present onto the plotly library, right? So I would just write px dot data dot, and the name for my data, that is tip. And I would just put out a bracket like this. So the tips is one of my data that I would be using here throughout this particular video for making out the different graphs. Okay, and I would just put here as data. Let's run this out basically. Fine. Now let's check out that what are the columns that we are having onto this particular data. So the columns we are having is total bill, tip, and we are having gender, then we are having smoker, date, time, and the size. Okay, these are the particular columns which we are having onto this data. Now let's say you are having a huge data, and in that case you just want to display out some particular rows from that data. So what you would just write? You would write data dot head. Okay, and you would put out the brackets like this. So this will basically help you to give out the top 5 rows of your data which you are having. So it would be very much easier for you now to see out the data and check out each and everything regarding out this data. Right, so as mentioned earlier as well, that we are having some around 7 columns onto this particular data. Fine. Now as we had used out the set, in the same way we have a function that is tail, and that is basically used for checking out the last 5 rows of your column. So if I just write here df.tail and put out the bracket like this, so it will display the last 5 rows of your data. So from here indirectly I could just say that okay, I am having 243 rows onto my data and I'm having 7 columns, right? Indirectly I could say. And if you just want to make out this particular thing confirm, so you can just write, okay, so how come this df has worked? Okay, it's data. Just one second, that is data dot tail, right? That's okay. And here I would just write now again data dot shape, and this will basically help me to check out the number of rows and the number of columns onto this particular data. So in that case, I am having the number of rows as 244 and number of columns as 7. Okay, so the first one is the rows and the second one is the column. Right, hope you just got that. Now, this is about like checking out your data, that what are the things you're having on your data. Other than this, we are even having some more functions, but that I would not be discussing right here. Fine, now let's move towards making out a bar plot. Okay. So in Plotly library, what happens that you need to take out a variable, okay, and into that variable you just need to give out the give out the syntax and put out the things for making out your bar plot. And after that, what happens after that, you just need to use out that variable and use out a show function to see basically your graph which would come. This is the idea in the Plotly library. Let's see how it goes. So fig is one of my variables which I have taken, okay. Okay. I would just write here px. Why px? Because plotly.express library with the short form which I have given here is px. So I'm just using that particular variable here. Sorry, not variable, a short form you can just say out. So px dot, and after that I am having here as bar. So if we just want to make out a bar plot, so we will simply write here as bar. Okay, this is the way how we just make out a bar plot into the Plotly library. So fig is equal to px dot bar. After that, I'll be writing here the variable in which I have stored my data. So that is data only, right? The variable in which I have read out my data, that was here. The same name, that was data itself. So I just put out that particular variable. Maybe it may differ for you, okay? But you can just put out that variable which you had taken. After that, what I just want to plot onto the x-axis. What are the things that I want on the x-axis? Let's say on x-axis, I just want to print here as, let's say, time. Okay, so I would just put here as time. Right, after this, let's say, what about the y-axis? So let's say onto my y-axis, what I just want the, let's say, tip. Okay, on y-axis, I just want here to be displayed, which is tip. Right, and now it's the time. Okay, when I just run out this particular thing, so I just did not get anything. Why? Because I mentioned in the very starting that till the time you are not going to use out the show function, you will not be able to see out your graph which has been plotted. So for that, you just need to use here fig dot and the show like this and the brackets, right? And you just run it out. Right here, so this is how your bar plot will come here for this particular graph. And now let's see what are the extra features which we have into Plotly. So as soon as you click on any of the bars which is showing, it will show you that this is the particular time and this is the tip given at this particular time. Let us see tip. The tips are in like going in a random way, right? So these are basically the tips which are given into the time of dinner. And the same is about the lunch as well, but the ratio for the lunch is very low and ratio for the dinner is very high. So it seems we can just conclude from this particular graph that the most of the tips are given at the time of dinner. Fine. Okay. Now let's say you just want to put out here one parameter which is color. Now what will color do actually? Let's say onto the color one, I just want to take out the column which is gender. So just write here that particular thing. Now when I just run it out, so it will basically differ me into the two colors, right? That what is the gender that is giving that tip onto that particular thing. Okay, just 1 second. Let me put out this as well. Fine. Okay, onto the dinner, the blue color here. Now just check out here that the blue color is representing the female and the red color is representing the male. So we can, from here this data we can see onto the dinner time, the less number of tip is given by the female and the more number of tip is given by the males, right? And onto the lunch time, it's around equally about the male and the females, the tip which is given, right? Just have a look, that tip is equal to 4 and this here you are getting each and everything. You are just getting all of the things which are actually plotted onto this particular bar plot, right? So this is the benefit that why we mostly use out the Plotly library in making out the plots when we are just going to do out the EDA, because it gives us a nice overview and even it gives us the each and every information which you wanted from this particular graph, right? Let me come down. Let me just make out one more plot. Okay, let's say I would just give here the fig as well. Fig is equal to, I would just write px dot bar, right? So what is that px? So px is basically the variable, or you can just call it a short form, which we had given to the plotly.express library, right? So I just wrote that px here. Dot bar means my bar plot which I wanted to plot out here. After that, I'll be putting out the variable in which I have stored out my data. So for me, that is basically the data variable only. After that, I'll be writing here as x. So into the x, what I just want, let me just go above and see that what are the other columns which I am having. Okay, let's take the day and then let's take the total bin, and onto the column, let's take the smoker. Okay, so on x, let me take out here the variable which is day. comma, let's say on Y, I would just take out the column which is total underscore bill. And let's say for the color, I would take here as smoker. So these are the three things which I have taken. I have taken X is equal to day. Onto the x-axis, I just want to plot out the day. Onto the y, I just want to plot out the total bill. And onto the color, I just want to give out the smoker, right? Coming to the new line, I would just write here fig dot show and to the brackets like this. And it's the time for running out the program. Fine here. So let's have a look about this particular graph which we had got out. First of all, see here that a smoker is no and the yes. Blue one is for no and red one is for yes. Okay. Now onto the Sundays. So onto the Sundays, basically the ratio for no smoker and yes smoker. So the ratio for no smoker is high than the yes. Right. On Saturday it's around equal. On Thursday, the ratio for no is high and the yes is less, and even on Friday, the ratio for no is low and for yes is high. Red one is the yes, and blue one is the no. Right. So here we just got out this plot, and according to that only we are just getting out the total bill as well, which you can just check out from here. Just putting onto any of the bars, you can just check out the total bill as well on to a particular day. Right. Now, this is how you can just make out, basically we just make out the plot using this particular like Plotly library. Onto the color, let's say if I just take here as size. And now if I just try to run it out. So basically size is one another parameter which we are having out here. So see, now just have a look that for the size one, okay, let me just come to this particular place. Fine. For the size, see, from the down, it's from down to upside it's going, and onto down you are having the darker color, and as soon as the size is increasing, the color is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So you can just go and check out here that's the size is 6, here the size is 5, and then some place you're having 3, here it's again 6, and all these things you are just able to see that out. Fine. And onto a particular day as well, this is plotted accordingly to a particular day. Right, so hope it has got the clear and a very fair idea that how you can plot out a bar plot with the help of this plotly.express library, and how you can just make out these particular plots. Right, so this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. Now today we'll be seeing out that how we can make out the bar plot. Now seeing out that bar plot is already completed, right? We are already seeing that out that how we can make a bar plot. But now we'll be today seeing out that how we can apply out some conditions onto this bar plot and make that bar plot even useful for us, right? Now applying out the condition that let's say you are having this tips data set, right? Now in this tips data set you want the data for only those let's say into this total bill and total underscore bill column. Okay, let's say into this column you only want the data for those bills which are greater than 15 or which are greater than 20. So how to find out that particular thing, that let's say you just want to plot out the plot for this particular thing, or you just want to go for the day that is only Sunday. Right, so then how to make out the plot for that particular case. So in that today I am going to tell you a new function, that is a query function. First of all, I'll be telling you with the help of query function. After that we have one more way for doing that out. That also I would let you know. Right, let's go ahead and see out this query function. So I would just put, okay, just let me put out the text here and put out the, okay, instead of this between one, let me just put out here the function which we are having, which is query, QUE and RY. Okay, this is the function that we'll be seeing out. Okay, just wait, hold on for a minute, actually it wants the hash. Fine. Right, so basically what is a variable in which I am already having my data, that is data is equal to px.data.tips. Okay, let's write that once again. I would just write data is equal to px.data.tips, right? This is how we just load out the tips data that we had already told you in the previous video, that if you're having out a data which is already onto the Plotly library, then how to upload that, how to load out that particular data, that is already defined, right? Put out a point after that, put out a dot. Here use the function that is query, QUERY. Okay, query is a function that I would be telling you that how to put out the particular conditions. Inside the query function, put out these double quotes, right? So inside these double quotes, put out the column for which you want to apply out the condition. I want to apply out the condition for total underscore bill. Okay, total underscore bill. Now, what I just want is that total underscore bill should be greater than let's say 15.00. Now, why I have just added this 0.00? Because onto my data, which I am having here, just have a look over this data. Over this data, whatever the bills I am having, here I am having point and some what values. Either it is 00 also, that also works. So I need to put out my value which I want to put out here, and after that I will be putting out the double zeros. Right. Now let's see, I just want the day as well, a particular day as well. Let me go out here. Okay, first of all put out this condition. After that I will let you know how to put out for day. After that I'll be putting fig is equal to. Okay. And I'll be applying out the condition, that is data dot bar. Okay, fig is equal to data dot bar. Now, sorry, not instead of data, I just write out here as px. Px is the short form which we had given to the Plotly Express library. Go ahead and see this out, this thing. Okay, so I'm just simply using out that here px dot bar into the bracket. Fine, let me go above and show you the way where we had made out the plot. Fine, this was. So I would first of all put out the variable in which my data is stored. So that is absolutely data for me. Put out a comma. And here I'll be using out the x. Okay, so onto the x, what I just want, let's say onto the x, I want the gender. Fine, so I would just put out that particular name. Fine. What about the y? So on y, let's say I just want the same variable, same column name for which I have given out the condition. That is total underscore bill. Okay, and at the downside, I would be writing fig dot show. Fig dot show and the brackets like this, and I would just run it out here. Fine. Now just have a look over my plot which is coming here. So here basically my plot which is coming here, I am having that we have total bill here for the females and here is for the male, right? After that, basically now just have a look that if I just go and over any of the bars which is present here, you can even have a look that each and every bill which I am having, that is greater than 15.00. Any bar you take out here as an example for the male or even for the female as well, anything would be having the same thing here. Fine. Even if you will be having some 15 values, so that would be greater than 15.00. 15.00, that is, you can have 15.01, you can have 15.02, but not less than 15.00 you can actually have onto this particular plot. Right, so this is how we just plot out for the female and this is how we plot out for the male. I have given here the condition that was x is equal to gender, so that is why it is giving me the same thing. Now, if I take out the same one which we had taken here, that if I onto the x, if I just give out the time, and onto the y, if I just get out the gender. So the plot will be coming out like this only. Only difference would be that it will be showing me for any particular total bill which is greater than 15. Right, now I was telling you that how we can even put one more condition. So I'll put out and here. After that, my another condition which I just want to put out here is I want to give the condition for day as well, let's say. Okay, I would just write here and day is equal to. Now, whenever you are writing any other string, okay, whatever the day I'll be giving, that is Sunday or Thursday or Friday, Saturday, what I'll be giving, that is always a string, right? So for putting that, I just want to put out some more semicolons. Right now, when you had put out double semicolon, so inside that you cannot again put out double. What you can do, you can put out single semicolons, and inside this single semicolons, you can write out the particular thing, whatever you just want. So let me just take out, let's say day is Sunday. Okay, so the Sunday I would just write here SUN. Okay, and right here. So fine, let's go ahead and run out this program here for a while. Now just have a look that whatever I would be giving, I would be only and only getting for the day that is particularly Sunday. So my conditions, two conditions which I have applied out here, that is the total bill should be greater than 15 and the day should be Sunday. So here onto the X, if I just take here instead of that gender, if I take here day, and for the color purpose, I would just give here the gender thing here. Fine. Now let's run it out once again here. Okay, Now have a look that what it is giving me. It is giving me one single bar plot, one single bar. Why it is giving me? Because I have applied out a condition for the day that I want only and only the day, which is Sunday. I do not want to plot it for all of the days. I simply want to plot it for Sunday. Right, so it is giving me that particular thing. After that, I had put out the color that was gender. So it is giving me two colors, which is male and female. So blue is for the female and red is for the male. Now when you just go and hover over any of these, so it will let you know about the total bill as well. It will let you know about the gender, it will let you know about the day, and even the total bill which you are having. And that condition are that the total bill will always be greater than 15 and 15 only. Right. So hope it has got the idea that how you can plot out this particular plot using the some conditions as well, like how you can just put out some condition according to your according to your way, that how you just want to plot out the particular plot. Fine. Now let's say I just want that here size should be greater than 3. So I could just simply put out size greater than 3 and it will give me that plot in which all the data of that particular plot in which the size would be greater than 3. Right, hope you just got this thing. So this was about the query function. After this, I just told that I'd be telling you one more method for doing out this particular thing, right? Okay, so here what I could just do actually is I could just simply do it on this only. Let's do it on this particular only. So data is equal to, I had already read out my data, so that is absolutely okay, but that is having my px. So let me just remove out that. So I would just write df is equal to pd dot read underscore csv. Okay, it is not the csv. I would just write px dot data dot, and here we are having that tips data. This is how I just read out. Now why I am just not using this above one, because this above one is having some condition, and now I just do not want to put out the condition in this way. I'll be telling you another way. Right, so df is equal to px dot data dot tips. Come to the new line. I would write df underscore, let's say condi. Okay, that is condition, my another variable. So here we have df underscore condition, right? I would put out the variable in which I have stored my data, that is df, put out a large brackets, and here I'd be using df dot. Now what is my column name on which I just want to apply out the some condition? Okay, let's do it for let's do it for day only. Okay, let's do it for time. Okay, and time t for time is small. Okay, so I would just write here df dot, and here I'll be putting out time. Okay, is equal to. Now what condition I'll be giving? I would giving the time for the dinner. Okay, now this is one another way how you can apply out some conditions. So here you haven't used out your query function. Okay, I would just write here fig is equal to px dot bar. Into the bracket, I would be putting out first of all the data which I want to plot. Now make sure not to write out here df, simply write df underscore condition, because this is the variable where you had put out your condition. This is the one which you want to plot out, right? Just write out that particular thing. Comma, what about the x column? So onto the x, let's say I want to be the gender. Let's say put out like that only. After that on y, let's say I just want here as total underscore bill. Okay, on y I want total bill, and I can even put out some hover data as well if I just want to put out. Now what does this hover data actually means? It means that whenever you will be hovering over any particular bar, so what are rest of the informations which you want here? Okay, you can just put out that particular thing as well. So I would just write out here hover data. I want the hover data to be the tip and the smoker. Okay, let that not be smoker. Onto the smoker I would take another thing. Let that tip and let that day and let that the size. Tip, day and size. Let's put out all these three into the hover data. So here tip, comma, after that I have day, and after that I put out a comma and I have here as size as well. Fine, all of these things, three things I have put out. Now you want to put out some color as well. So yes, I want to do that, and color I'll be giving it for the smoker, because the smoker is having only two values, which is yes and which is no. Fine, come to the down, and here I'll be simply using fig dot show. Okay, the fig dot show onto the bracket. Now let it run. Let's run it out here. Fine, now this is my plot which is actually appearing here. Okay, so what was my condition? My condition was dinner. Now here wherever you will be seeing out, here you like whatever you are just getting, everything is basically for that dinner only. Fine, so let me just go above once here and df dot time. Let me put out here in the hover data time as well, so that it shows us the time. Right, now let's run it out here once again. Okay, now here just have a look that it is telling me about the time as well. Now whatever the what are the bars you are hovering about, it everything is changing except the last value, which is my time. So every time the time is my dinner only, because I have set out that particular condition here, right? That time I just want only and only to be dinner. So this was the second way how I can just set out a particular condition, give out a particular condition here. Instead of using the query function, I could simply write the name in which I have stored my data. Inside the large brackets, I could again put a variable name, dot, put out the column name in which you want to apply the condition, and put out the condition which you want to apply. I had set out here df.time is equal to dinner, right? Other than that, now just have a look that this is one of my plot which is showing me each and every information which I was actually having in my data. I was having total around 7 columns, right? Size, time, day, smoker, and then gender, tip, and total bill. Around 7 columns I was having into my data. Now just come down and see onto this particular plot. It will be giving you around all the seven data which you were having. So it is giving you smoker, then gender, then total bill, tip, day, size, and time. These were the 7 columns actually, right? So how I had done that particular thing? Onto the X and Y, I had taken whatever I just wanted to plot it out, and onto the hover data, I had put on all rest of the columns which we were having, and as a color, I had taken a smoker. Right, so it is telling me about the smoker, yes or no, and basically everything is like already displayed onto this data. Now I just do not want to make any other particular plot for checking out this whole data. You can just simply see out at this particular place only. Right, so hope it has got the idea how you can put out the conditions if you just want to make out a plot using some of the conditions, how you can do that particular thing. First way was the query function, and second way is this different way which I had told you right here. Okay, so this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So today we'll be seeing out to the plots basically in the Plotly library, right? So we were dealing with the Plotly library, and in that we were seeing different types of plot which we can make with the help of the Plotly library. Right, so again today we are just gonna do out the same thing, right? Okay, so the two different plots that I am going to discuss today, the first one is the scatter plot and the second one is the bubble plot. Now these two are the plots which are almost similar to each other. There is a slight difference between these of the two plots actually, right? So that is the reason that I have taken both of the plots together here as well. Okay, now what we'll be doing is that as we were taking out the data and simply working on that data, so in the same case I'd be taking out that same data and making out the scatter plots and the bubble plots for that particular data. Right, so this is how it is gonna be, and I would be just writing out the code here for the scatter plot and the spaces for this bubble plot. Fine. Let me just go above for a while and let me show you that what are things that we had already done out here. So yeah, we had imported out the plotly.express library as the library that we were using throughout this particular videos for making out some plots with the help of this library, right? After that, we had read out the data, and that data was tip. So these were somewhat about 7 columns, which our data was having: total bill, tip, gender, smoker, day, time, and size. Right? These were the particular columns which our data was actually having. Right? So okay, I just took out that thing. After that, we had seen out the shape. Then we had even plotted out some bar plots as well for this particular data. Right? Now, what we'll be doing out today, it's the turn for the scatter and the bubble plot, right? So let's go ahead with that particular thing only. Let me just come down here and yeah, let me start writing out. So as we already have imported out the data and all those things, so it's not needed to write out again, but let me just give you an idea once again how to put out all of these things. Okay, so this line is exception. If you just want to write out, you can. Otherwise, if you do not want to write it, don't write that again here. Only I'm just showing you to explain you the things in a very easier way, and even to revise out the things that we have already seen in a previous video. Right, so here I'm just writing import, and I will just use here plotly.express EXPRESS. Okay, import plotly.express as PX. Right, so plotly.express is basically a library which we are having here, and PX is the short form to this particular library which I have actually given out here. Fine, that is done. Now coming to the new line, I would just read out the data. So let's say df is a small variable which I had taken, and I would just write here px dot data dot tips and a bracket like this. PX is basically the short form of the plotly.express library. Data is basically where we just like when we are having a data and that data is already into the plotly library. So we just use out this particular command for reading out that data. Later I just wrote here px.data.tips. Now tips is my data which I am actually referring to. Fine. We had already seen that what were the columns. I would just not repeat that thing again here. I just do not want to see out the columns again. Fine. Right here. Now what I would just do, I would just take out a variable, that is fig. Okay, I would just write here fig is equal to, I would just go on with the px.scatter. Okay, so px is basically the short form for the plotly.express library, and px I'm just writing here. As we are making out a scatter plot, so I'm just writing a dot and then the scatter. So that means I'm making out my scatter plot. Into the bracket, first of all, I'll be putting out that variable in which I have read out my data. So that is df for me. I just put on that thing. Now, giving some conditions, giving the value for the x, that is onto the x-axis, what value do I want? So, I just want to go into x-axis as total bill. Okay, I just want total bill onto the x-axis. Putting out a comma, I just want to the y-axis. So, onto the y-axis, let's say I just want here as tip. Okay, again putting out a comma. Now, what I would just do, I just can set out a color for this particular graph which would be appearing. So, what I would just do, I would just write here color is equal to, and I would be giving out the color here as day. Okay, so what are the things will be coming out here, that is total bill and tip, the graph between them. So that would be coming into order of the day. Order of the day means that it will be constituting that on Monday this was the total bill, this was the tip, and on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday and Sunday. This is how it will be going out. Right, I just put out the color as day. After that, I can even put out the size as well, the size for the bubbles. So into the size of the bubbles, I'll be putting out the column name which is size only. Why? Because as soon as the family size would increase, the size of my bubble would increase, and as soon as my size column value, that is my family size value, will decrease, the size of the bubble will as well, that scatters the bubble, this like circle which will be appearing, the size of that will as well decrease. Right, so this is how it actually works for the size one. And I could just put out another parameter which is over underscore data, and I just can put anything here. I just want to put out the gender thing, and I'll just put out the, let's say, time as well. Okay, so these are the things which I just want onto the like scatter plot. And at last I would just write here fig dot show, and I will just put out the bracket like this. Now it's the time for running out the program. So here we go with the running of the program. Fine. So this is our plot which is actually coming, and this is actually a scatter plot which we are actually able to see it. Let me just zoom out one time here. Yes. Okay. So this is how the scatter plot is looking. Onto the y, I am having a tip, and onto the x, I am having here as total bill. Now, fine. Here I am having different days, that is Sunday, Saturday, Thursday and Friday. 4 different days, so 4 different colors for each and every day. Now have a look at here, the bubbles which you are able to see. Those bubbles are somewhat small and some are actually big. So that, why is that so? So that is basically because of the family size, the size column which we have taken. Now if I click on this small size, let's say this one. So just have a look at here, it is showing me that the size is equal to 1. Okay, and now if we just click on this large circle, so now just have a look, it is showing me size is equal to 6. So as soon as the size value on the column which is size, as soon as the value is increasing for that column which is size, the size of the bubble as well increases, and as soon as the size of column value decreases, the size of the circle as well decreases. Fine, this is the whole idea regarding taking out the different like circles, okay, different size actually. Now let's say this is a whole data, okay, so this is the whole plot. Now let's say I just only want to see regarding only one day. Let's say I just want to only see about the Friday. Then how will I be able to see? Differentiating all the purple colors is a little difficult task here, right? Because that's a difficult task. So how will I be able to do that particular thing? So I would be whatever the things I just want to remove, like whatever the days I want to remove out, I would simply one single click on that particular day. Now just have a look, that blue color, that was Sunday, has been removed. I would click on red as well. So now Saturday has even been removed. I would click on this green as well. So Thursday as well is also removed. Now only I am left out with Friday. So now you can just completely and clearly visualize for a particular day. Now let's say I just want Saturday. So I would just now once again click on Saturday. So Saturday would be back here. So this is about the Saturday. I want Sunday as well to see. Blue color is as well back, and I want Thursday as well, so I just click on that, and yeah, this Thursday is as well back here. Right, so this is how this particular plot actually works out. Hope you just got the idea, right? Now let's quickly make out the thing for the bubble plots. In bubble plot, there's a very slight difference for making this out. So what I would just do, I would just simply write here fig is equal to, I would write px dot is scatter. Okay, yeah. That also comes into the scatter plot part only. Okay, that is the reason I'm just covering it here itself. So df was a variable in which I had put out the read out my data which I just wanted to plot the plot for. So df comma, I would just go for the x column. So onto the x I would just write here total underscore bill, my column name. Okay, total underscore bill. Putting out a comma, I would just set the things for the y. So for y I'm having here as tip, right? So the same one. For size as well, I just want to give out the size column name only which we have into our data. That is absolutely okay. What about the color? So onto the color as well, I just want to give out that day only. That is the same thing. And what about the hover underscore name? So hover, okay, not that. Before that we are, yeah. So that is hover underscore name. And then I just want to give out that gender column. So I would just write that thing particularly here, and putting out a comma, I would just write here log underscore x, and I would just set that as true. Okay, now coming on to the new line, I would just simply write here fig dot show and put out the brackets like this, and now I would just try to run it out. Okay, so okay, double I is not defined. Yeah, that's absolutely good. Let me remove one I from here, and here we go. Fine. So fig.show is actually made out here. Now just have a difference. Now look at the difference for both the plots. See here, what is the thing? That all the bubbles which we have made out, that's coming in between, right? Now here they are coming at a separate place. Why? Because now just have a look onto the downside thing, right? Just have a look onto the downside. See here, you can actually move it accordingly, accordingly to any of the places, right? It is actually having an interval of 1, then 10, then 100, and then it goes up to 1000, and the interval is divided like this only in the bubble plot. But in the scatter, it was not the same thing. It was divided into the terms of some particular values, right? So this is the only difference in the scatter and the bubble plot which I just wanted to show you, and rather than that, everything is absolutely same. If I just click on any of the days here, it will actually remove out that particular column, and it will give me the particularly day which I am just looking for, and the information which I am just getting here is for what's the gender, what's the day, the total bill, tip, and the size for the family, right? These are all the informations which I am actually getting out from this plot. That is absolutely okay. Only the difference is for the interval. Other than that, in the bubble plot and in the scatter plot, there is no such of the difference, right? So hope you just got the clear idea that how we can actually make out this plots for any of the particular data, right? I just told you how to set out the x and y columns, the color, the size, all the things. So now you can just apply this onto any of the data whichever you are having, right? So hope you just enjoyed out this video. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So now today basically what we are going to do is that we are going to make out the pie chart with the help of the Plotly library. Okay, so today we'll be seeing that how we can make out a pie chart with the help of this particular Plotly library. So we, instead of the using of Plotly, we simply use plotly.express, because express is one of the, you can say it is one of the functions of that library which has some more features to add on to it. Right, so this is the reason that's why we always prefer to use out the plotly.express instead of simply using out the Plotly. Right, now here what I would just do is that we'll be trying to make out the pie chart, but before that we had already seen that how we can just make out the bar plots, and how we can just put out some several conditions, how we can use out the query function, so that let's say you just want out some things for some amount only. So in that case, how you can just use out the conditions, Then how you can make out the scatter plots, what about making out the bubble plot. So these were all of the things which we had seen till now, right? Now what I would be just doing here is that I would be making out the pie chart. The data which I'll be using is that tips data only, which we had already used out. But what I will be doing out here is that I'll be again importing that. Now why I'll be importing that? Because here I had put on some conditions, like here above, here we had put on some conditions. So because of that conditions, I'll be displaying out that particular data only. But I do not want that particular thing. I want that what are the pie chart I'll be making out. In that I just want the like pie chart of that whole data. But in the previous one we had put on some conditions, so it will automatically extract that some conditions from there. So this is the reason that I would be importing out a new data and then I'll be using this out, right? So let's see that I'll be doing this particular thing. Okay, so I would be just writing here that let's say my variable is data underscore tips. Okay, so data underscore tips. Now here we're loading out the data. So with that px dot data dot tips, right? This is the way how we just load out any particular data if we have it into the library, right? So okay, into the px is basically the short form to the plotly library which I have given here. Let me just go above and show you that thing as well. Right here, so here basically we are having the short form for the plotly.express as px, right? So I've just put in that thing as well only, nothing is too much different here. And there is one rule in the library is that if any of the data you are having and that data is actually present in any of the libraries, so in that case we just use out that data from that particular library. So in that case we just do not use out the pandas library, we simply use out the name of that particular library only, and here we are having that as px. Okay, so in that case I just use out that particular px only, px.data.tips. Now I'll be making out my pie chart. I'll be writing here fig is equal to, I'll be writing px.pie. Again px is basically my name, basically that is the short form for the plotly.express library which I have given. Pie is basically my pie chart. Df comma, okay, not that df, now I'll be just putting on the name for that variable in which I have stored my data and read out my data. So that is data underscore, so here we are having data underscore tips, right? So right now I just loaded out the data onto the first line into this particular variable which is data underscore tips. So I just put on that particular thing inside the bracket only. After that, now as we used to take out two x's, okay, whenever we were making out the bar plots, we were making out the scatter, we were making out the bubble. So in that case what was happening? In that case we were having two things. First one was of our x-axis and second was of our y-axis, right? Now here we do not need to make any x or y-axis. Here we are just going to make out one circle because pie chart is actually made in the form of circle, right? So for that case what I was needing out here is that I do not need x and y values. I would be taking two different parameters here which we actually have for the pie chart, and that are values and names. Okay, these are the two ones which we are having. So I will just put on here values, we always take out a categorical one, values we take out the numerical, and names we always take out a categorical. Okay, so let me just go above and let's see that what are the numericals and what are the categorical that we'll be taking out. So let's say I'll be taking out here as total bill for the numerical, and let's say I'll take for day for the categorical. Okay, so that is, let me write out here. So values would be my numerical, that is total underscore bill, putting out a comma. And what about the names? So names I will be having here as like categorical, and that name categorical I would be having here as day, right? And at last what I would just do, I would simply write here fig dot show and I would just run it out. Okay, now here basically we'll be displaying out our pie chart. So yes, here we have our pie chart. So in that it is showing me that like the percentage of the total bills, right? So here we'll be getting this thing into the percentages only. Here we are getting it for the 4 days. That is Saturday, Sunday, Thursday and Friday, because these are the 4 days only which are present onto our tips data set. So that is the reason that I am getting only for these 4 days. Right, so now as I hover on any of the small pie, so in that case I'm just getting out the day, and even I'm getting out the total bill, that what's the total bill, like what's the percentage for that total bill, and even I'm just getting out the day as well. Now here like besides 4 options are present, that is blue one is for Saturday, red one is for Sunday, green one is for Thursday, and purple one is for the Friday. Right, so we are able to analyze here that the people prefer to come mostly to eat food outside on Saturdays actually. Right, here see the blue color is having the highest percentage, that is 36.8, and that blue is actually the Saturday only, right? So we can just conclude from here that most of the people prefer to come out to eat out the food on Saturdays. After that they prefer to come on the Sundays, then comes the Thursday, and the least is on Friday. Okay, so we can just conclude this thing. Now if I just click on this side here, so now you all know I've already told that, I'm just again repeating that if I just click on any of the days which is present here, one single click that would be removed, and if I just again double click on that, so that would again come back. Let's do it for green one. Now just have a look that Thursday has been removed from our data. Now this is the tool which is used when you are having too much of data into this pie chart and like it's looking a little bit of messy up thing. So in that case you can just remove out some and just analyze for whatever you just want to prefer out. Right, this is how we just make out a pie chart, that is okay. Now other than that, it's not finished up here. We have several other features into this pie chart as well. We have a feature which is basically we can put on the color. Okay, I would just give out a comma here, and now we are having a variable which is color. Let's first of all put out the color is equal to, okay, just let me remove it out. So color is equal to, let's say I just give out any particular column name. Let's see what happens. Will it basically run it out or it will not run? So let's give it as okay, let it be smoker. So here I will be coming and here comes the smoker, and now if I just run it out, so basically now just let's have a look. Now have a look that only we are getting out two colors onto this particular. Fine. So smoker no, and then smoker no. So whatever the no ones I am having into this particular data, all the no are here into the blue color. It means that smokers are not on Thursdays, Sundays and Saturdays. Smokers are only on the Fridays, which we are actually having here. That is smoker is equal to yes and the day is Friday. So in the same way as well, you can just put out the data from here that okay, let's say you just wanted to find out that which is the day where the smokers come. So we can just make out the pie chart and put out the color as smoker. So in that case, you could just get out that smokers are almost on Fridays only. On Thursdays, Saturdays and Sundays, the smokers are not there. Right? So this is another thing which you can just put out after this. Okay, let's say now I have just given out a categorical column into the color. Now let's say I just give out some numerical. We are having size as a numerical column, right? Let's say I just give out some numerical. In that case as well, I would be getting out 4 things, and now that would not be differentiated. So the red one is for the size 3, blue one is for the size 2, a green one is for the size 4, and this one is as well, blue one is for the size 2. So wherever you are finding out blue, so that is basically for the size 2. Size 2 means the family size is actually 2, right? The green color is for the size 4 and the red one is basically for the size 3. Okay, this is the whole idea regarding this particular thing. Now let's say you do not want to give out any particular column name here. So in that case, we have another parameter which can be used on. Now let me remove out this color. So parameter which we have is color underscore discrete underscore sequence. This is the parameter which we are having, color discrete sequence. So there are some colors which are actually already present on to that Plotly library. You can just go out onto the Google and search that out. So from that particular color sequence, you can just choose out any color, any particular color sequence if you just want to put it onto the pie chart. Right now you are able to see that it is having around 3 to 4 colors, right? Now let's say I just want to make it in a form that as soon as the values decrease into this pie chart, as soon as the percentage decreases, my color should as well decrease. Let's say I just took out red. So that red should be darker, then more lighter, then more lighter. In this format, I just want out the pie chart to look like. So in that case, we just use out this color discrete sequence parameter which we actually have, right? So I would just write here px dot, that would be px dot colors, px dot colors dot sequential. This statement would actually remain same, that is px dot colors dot sequential. After this, you have your own way to write out that what color you just want. So here is one thing, that is RDBU. This is one format actually which we are having. Right, I had just put on that particular thing here. Now just have a look at the pie chart which I'm just getting out here. See, it's format, right? The one which is having the largest total bill, that is the largest percentage. That is the most darkest. After that, the second largest we are having, that is the little lighter to the first one. The third one is more lighter, and the fourth one is the more lighter. So as soon as the percentage of the total bill decreases, the color as well becomes lighter and lighter and lighter. Right, so see onto the this side as well. I'm just having the things for that. So this is how you can make out a pie chart. Hope you just got the idea regarding the parameters first of all which you have here, and what are the other things which you can add here, what are the colors that you can give, right, and how to make out the pie chart if you're having any data, right. So hope you just got this thing very much clearly regarding the pie chart. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So into the previous video, we had already seen that how we can make out the pie charts, right? We had seen making out the pie chart in many different ways. So in this particular today's video, we are going to see that how you can make out the line plots, right? Line plot is another type of plot which is very much useful whenever you are just going to do any data exploration thing, right? Whenever you're just going to explore some data. So in that case, line plot is one another plot which comes up as a very beneficial one and even an informative plot, right? So today we'll be seeing out that particular plot. So here let me just put on the text and let me just write out some text here so that I could just put out the heading. So heading for today is basically the line plot, right? So this is what we are going to discuss right today. So as we will be taking out the same data that was tips data. So first of all, I'll be telling you according to that tips data. After that, I'll be taking one another data and then I will be telling you according to that. And then even I would be letting you know that if you let's say have some like numpy, let's say you have the numpy library. So from that numpy library using out some function as well, how you can plot out the line plot. Let's say you do not have any particular data like that, so you just want to do out some stuff with the numpy library. Okay, so using that numpy library, how you can plot out the line plots as well, because that is as well the possible thing, right? So we'll be discussing about all of these three things today. So first of all, I'll be writing here df is equal to px dot. Okay, data is already uploaded into the previous one. What was the variable? Variable was data underscore tips. Okay, so I would just write here simply fig is equal to fig is equal to px dot line. So whenever we are just going to make out the line plot, so in that case we just write here line. Okay, after that we'll be writing out that data in that variable in which we have stored our data. Right, now what we are actually doing, we are not importing out the data again and again, because that is already a thing which I have done previously. Right, we have already done that into the previous video. So I'm just not going to do that particular thing right here. Okay, so fig is equal to px dot line, data underscore tips is the variable in which I have stored out my data into the previous code, and after that I'll be putting out some conditions. So x are what I would be taking for x. Okay, so let's go above and see out the variables which we actually have, columns. So okay, onto the x, I just want out some categorical column, let's say. So let's say I would be taking here as day. Okay, and let's say onto the y, I want let's say tip. Okay, onto the y I want tip, and yeah, let's say these are the two. Onto the x I'll be taking day and on y tip. So let's go here. Okay, so on x I'll be taking here as day, comma, onto the y I would be giving here as, let's say, right. Now after this we even have one option for putting out the color as well. Okay, we have one choice that if you just want to put out some color, so you can. So I'll be writing here color is equal to, and into the color we take some categorical column. Why categorical? Because categorical column is having some less distinct values, right? So I'll be taking that. Yes, let's say I'll be taking here as smoker. Okay, and into the next line I'm writing here fig dot show and the bracket, and it's the time for running this out. So basically, as soon as I run it, now just have a look at what type of graph I had got out. Yeah, I know that this is a very messy graph. You cannot get out anything. You cannot understand any particular thing from this graph. But yeah, this is how the line plot graph is actually made out. Okay, do not see out this graph right here. So because that sorted graph, I'll be letting you know into the next column, into the next row. But right now just have a look here regarding that how you can make out a line plot. Okay, now here if I just wanted, I could just put out some condition that tip would be greater than 10, then it must be a little bit of sorted line plot. Okay, so okay, let's say this is a very messy up, right? You cannot get understand from here. So in that case, what we do, we try to sort out the data. We try to analyze the data in small parts. Now how we can? So as I told you regarding the query function, right? So that query function can be used anywhere throughout this plotly library. You can even use that query function into the line plot. So you can apply a condition dot query, and into the bracket you can put on, let's say that tip should be greater than 10. Then when you will be running this out, then you will be getting the more sorted graph. Okay, so this is how you can make out the sorted one. But for that, we are just going to take out some another data. So I'll be reading out a data here, and that would be right here, df is equal to px dot data dot gapminder. Now gapminder is one another type of data which we have here into the plotly library. So I just loaded out that data with the help of px.data.gapminder, and now I'm just trying to check out the columns which is just having. So I just printed out the head. Right, so these are some columns which is having. It is having country, then continent, year, life, exp, population, pop, I mean GDP per capita, ISO alpha, and ISO num. Right, these are some of the columns which I am having into this particular data. So I'll be making out the plot with this data only. Now I want to put out some condition here because this data is too much large. Let me check out the shape. So df dot shape. So now have a look regarding the shape that it is having 1704 rows. Right, so according to that, it is having a large data. So in that case, I cannot make it for each and everything. Right, otherwise it would be again a too much messy up thing. So like the above one only, I want a sorted line graph to be plotted. So in that case, I'd be taking a particular continent here. Okay, so as the continents are here, Asia and whatever they are having, so I'll be taking out only a particular continent, right? Let me come down here and again write to a df dot px dot data dot gapminder. Okay, minder. Into the bracket, I would be writing here after bracket dot. I'll be applying my query function, and inside that I'll be putting that continent. Okay, I'll be applying the query onto the continent. Continent is equal to, and here we have a continent which is Oceania. Oceania. It is one of the ones which you are having. Okay, that is Oceania. Oceania. This is the correct spelling. Oceania. Right, so this is the one continent which we are using. So I have already checked onto this data that which is the continent which is having very less number of things onto that. So this is one of them which is having very less number of things. So that is the reason that I have taken this continent. It is having only 2 countries associated with it. Okay. So I'll be writing fig is equal to px dot. I'll be making out the line. Inside that my variable is df, comma, 1 second. Okay, that is d. Okay, that is df like this, right? Onto the x, let's say I'll be taking here as year. Okay, year is my column which I'm taking onto the x-axis. Onto the y, I would be taking, onto the y I would be taking here as, let's say, life exp. Okay, you must have seen above that these were some columns which we were having. Right, after that put out a comma, and what about the color? So I'll be taking one color as well. Let's say color I just want to give out here as country. Country was one another variable which you were having, right? So just put on all those things, and here I could just write fig dot show, and I could just run it now here. So as soon as I basically, end of line while scanning, where is the error? Okay, this one is actually not closed right here, fine. Now as soon as I get out the plot, now just have a look regarding this plot which I'm getting. Like this is a very sorted and very good looking plot, right? Because why it is like that? Because the continent that is Oceania which I have taken, that is only having 2 countries into it. First one is Australia and second one is the New Zealand. Right, it is having only both of them, and even it is having the data till only from 1960 till 2000 only it is having out the data. So it is easier to plot out this less number of things into it, right? The last year which is having it is 2007. Right, so blue one is basically for the Australia and new one is for the red one is for the New Zealand, and it is plotted between the life EXP and the year. Now if I just click on this Australia, this would be removed, so I would be only and only getting regarding the New Zealand. Okay, and if I just go again and click back, so now I'll be getting regarding the Australia as well. Right, so this is how we just call that you are making out the sorted line plot. Okay, because why I'm just getting out this thing, because I have applied out a condition here. If I haven't applied that out, then I would have got out the very messy up thing. Let me just remove out this condition, and now if I just run it out, first of all, it will take too much of time for plotting me out this particular plot, and now just have a look. Can you understand any of the things from this particular plot? No, you cannot, right? Because it is giving you the data regarding all the countries whichever it is having. So there are many number of countries. Just have a look. See, I'm scrolling it down. Many countries, right? So in that case, basically it is giving me this particular. Now if I just again put out my condition, and now when I just run it out, so it is giving me only for one particular continent, and it is only having two countries, which is Australia and New Zealand. So that is the reason that it is giving me a sorted line plot. Right, hope you just got this particular thing very clearly. Now next which we are going to discuss is regarding that NumPy. So I would just write here import. Now in the plotly only we had one more thing. As we were having express, we are having one another thing here, which is graph underscore object. Okay, graph underscore object. So whenever you are just using out any NumPy library or something like that, so in that case we just try to use out this graph underscore object, okay, as go. So I would just try to import plotly dot graph underscore objects as go. Okay, and I would be just importing my NumPy library as well. So import NumPy as NP, and I would just try to run it out. Right, so this basically both of them have run. Now I would take, let's say my variable is value is equal to, and I'll be applying out a range function into the NumPy library. Okay, np dot range. Range means that I had given out a range that I want the values till this particular number. Okay, that is 10. Okay, I just given out a particular range that my range is till 10 only. I want all the values till 10. Right, now I would be just writing here fig is equal to, now as we were using px before, so px was for plotly.express. Now here we are using plotly.graph underscore object. So in that case we are going to use out this go. Right, so fig is equal to go dot figure is basically the function which we use for making out any plot when we are using any other, like when we are just making out a plot with help of any other library. So here as well we are just going to make out a line plot only. So when you're just using out this go function, like this plotly.graph underscore objects, so in that case we just use out this figure. Okay, into the bracket I'll be writing data is equal to, now what is the data that I just want to give, go dot scatter. Okay, okay, it would be capital SCATTER. Actually what will come, it will be giving you different points, and that all different points will be joined with the help of one line. Okay, this is why I just wrote out a scatter here. Right, and okay, again bracket, what for the x, for the x I have given as the value, right, value. Now what onto the y, so let's say on y I just want to give the let's say I just want to give out the let's say that is cube of value. Okay, so on y I'm writing value, I'll put 3 stars and give it here as 2. Okay, so it will basically like, okay, let me just put on 2 stars and write it as, so it will be giving me the square, right, and if I just put out the 3 one, it will be giving me the cube right here. And at last what I would just do, at last I'll be writing here fig dot show, and like this. And now if I just try to run it out, okay, so value, okay, this one is not value. Okay, let's remove this out and now try to run it. Fine, so now just have a look at here what I am getting. I am getting out this particular graph which is like 0, and then it is here at some point 1, 1, it is 2, 4, because we are just getting out the square for all of the things, right, 2, 4, then 3, 9, 4, 16, 5, 25. In the same way, if I just want to write instead of this 2, if I just want to write here as 3, so in that case as well, it will plot me the thing. So in that case, it will be 0, 0, 1, 1. It will be 2, comma 8. Okay, so right. This is how we just write out the cube. I'm sorry, I was just putting out 3 signs. So for finding out the cube, we just multiply, like double multiplication 3. Okay, power 2 to the power 3. And get 327, 464, 5, 125. This is how we are getting out the things. Now scatter I had just put on, so that is the reason that I'm getting out these like these points here. And when I just put on the figure here at this particular place, so this is the reason that why I am just getting out these points, and these points are actually joined by the particular line. Right, so hope you now just got the idea that how you can plot out all of the things, how you can make out the line plot. I just told you 3 things. First was like how this unsorted line plot comes. After that, how we can make out that line plot as a sorted one. And third, how you can use out the NumPy library. Right, so this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So now today what we are going to do is that we are going to make out the horizontal bar chart. So till now what we had done, we had already made out the bar charts. That is absolutely right thing. But making it vertical and making it a horizontal, these are the two different things. It's not the similar thing actually, right? So when you are just making any particular plot into the horizontal format, the first of all the syntax and the like making of the things actually changes, and second thing is that the data and the visualization thing as well changes, right? Many of you must be having this thing into your mind that okay, make it vertical or make it horizontal, that's the same. No, that is not the same actually. Okay, there are such a difference that what like into the horizontal and into the vertical places, right? So let's make out that horizontal bar chart today. Okay, so what I'll be doing is that I'll be checking out the same data, which is the tips data set, onto this particular only. I'll be making out the bar plot, horizontal bar plot actually. So under this option, I'll be putting out one text. Okay, here we had done out the query. Right here. Okay, down this place, I'll be writing out horizontal bar chart. Okay, so let's put on the heading and start making out. So here I'll be writing, first of all, putting out a comment. And let's remove this out, and here I'll be writing the things. So I would be putting here as horizontal bar, and here we have the chart. Okay, so horizontal bar chart, this is the topic for today that we are gonna make. Right, now let me just come down here at this particular place and let's see that how we will be doing out this thing. Okay, so first of all, I'd be like making out a data onto this one, this data only, this one. But what I will be doing, I'll be again reading out that data. Now, what is the way, like how I'll be doing that? Because I am making several plots, and for some I had given the conditions. Even we have imported one new plot as well, that was sorry, one new data as well, that was Gapminder. In that as well, we had given out some several conditions. So it can be a case that the name for both of the variables could actually match. So it would be a good thing, so that I could just take out a new variable and again read out the data, because that's not a very much big task, right? So I would just write it now. For you, if you just want to do that, you can. Otherwise, whenever we just work on a particular real-time data set, so again and again we do not import out our data. But okay, but here as soon as I have put on different conditions, so it can actually give me the wrong result. So that is why I'm reading out my data. Okay, so let's say data underscore tip. Okay, data underscore tip. Okay, into that I'll be reading px dot data dot tips, and then I would be just running this out. Fine, so this is how we just read out the data if we are having it onto a particular library. So let's say I'm having a library which is Plotly. Okay, that is px. I have just written out a short form for that. So Plotly library, I'm already having a data that is tips onto that. So for that, I just wrote out px.data.tips. This is how we just do that. And you actually are very much familiar, because we are doing this thing from the since the starting of the Plotly library, right? Now, I will be making out my horizontal bar chart, right? Okay, so fig is equal to, I'll be writing here px dot bar. Okay, px dot bar. Put out the bracket like this, because for making out the bar plots, we just use out the function which is bar. Great. Now after that, my variable is data underscore tip. Putting out a comma onto the x-axis, what do you want? Okay, so let's say onto my x-axis I want that. Fine, it's okay. What on the y you want? Let's say onto the y I want the smoker, right? Okay, what about the color? Let's say for the color I want the day. Okay, after that, now here comes, this is the place where we'll be telling that we are trying to make out the horizontal plot, because for making out the horizontal plot, the basically whole the procedure is actually same. There is only one difference which we just do for making out the horizontal plot. Okay, so in that case I'll be writing here orientation. Okay, orientation, I'll be writing here, putting out this semicolons and writing here as H. This is how we make out a horizontal bar chart. I just gave on the orientation is equal to H, right? Now, okay, there are some more features as well which we can put on, but I would just not put all the things in one go. I just want you to show out the difference as well as we move, as we proceed out. What's the different things? Okay, in that case, I'll be removing the color as well. Fine. Now let's write here fig plot, and I'll be putting here I show, and now it's the time for running out this particular plot. Right. Now just have a look at what I am getting. I am getting out my horizontal bar plot. Right. Onto the y-axis I am having a smoker, that is yes or no, and onto the x-axis I am having the tip. That if the smoker is yes, then what are like tips that is given, and if the smoker is no, then what is the tip that is given. Right, so in that case we can actually quickly analyze from this particular data only that when the like smoker is yes, so in that case the tip is given is less, and whenever the smoker is no, like when a person does not take the smoker, so in that case the ratio of giving up the tip is actually great, like it is greater. Fine, that is okay. Now let me add out the feature, that is comma. Let me write out the color is equal to, and let me put on the color as. Now when I just run it out, basically in this particular place you'll be able to see out the plot in 4 colors, that is blue, red, green and purple. Let's see on the right hand side that what is blue, red, green and purple. So blue is basically for Sunday, red is for Saturday, green is for Thursday and purple is for Friday. Right, this is how our plot is actually, like this is how our 4 features we are actually having, and we are just actually running that out. Okay. Now, here basically it is for the day, that is Sunday for, okay, now when we just go for the smoker, this smoker is yes. So the highest number of tip which is given on a particular day, that day is Saturday. Okay, when a person has taken the smoker and a person wants to give out the tip, so in that case, the highest number of tips are always given on the Saturdays when the smoker is yes. And when the smoker is no, so in that case the highest number of tips are given onto the Sundays, right? So from the bar only we can just conclude this out. I'm just not saying anything on my own. As you see out the ratio for the different colors that is distributed, so from that colors only you can just conclude on your own that how we can just differentiate that on which particular day what number of things are like what is the average amount on which particular day the more number of things are given, right? Now when I hover on any of these, so it gives me three data regarding this particular data set which we are having. It lets me know about the day, it lets me know about the tip, and it lets me know about the smoker. Now let's say the columns which are left out here, what were the columns which are left out? We have covered out the smoker, we have covered out the day, and we have covered out the tip. Now we are left with the total bill, we are left with the gender, we are left with the time, and we are left with the size. Now let's say I just want all of the data again to come onto that particular plot which I had made out this horizontal plot onto this. I want all of the things here as well. So in that case what I could just put, I can just put one new parameter, put out a here comma, and I could just write here hover underscore data. Okay, hover underscore data. So hover underscore data is the parameter which will actually help me to put out some other columns as well. So whenever I would hover on any of the bar, okay, it will display me whatever the data I just wanted and whatever the column names I have written inside the hover underscore data. It will actually display me all of them in a row. Right, I would just now put out a list. Why I'll be putting out a list? Because I'm just gonna give out some 3 to 4 column names here. Okay. So let's say I'm having here as size, then I was having the gender as well. I am having the total underscore bill, and what I was having the time. So these were the four which we were having, right? These were which we wanted to give out. So I just put on all of those inside this particular hover underscore data. You can put n number of columns inside this particular parameter which we have. N number of columns you can put out here, okay? After that, putting out a comma, I could even give out a title to this horizontal bar plot which I had made out. I could give it according to my choice. Okay. So I could just write anything here. Let's say I will just write tip versus a smoker. Let's say I just want to give out this title. So I've just written it out. Totally depends on you that what you want to give out here. Right? And fig.show is absolutely done. Now it's the time for running it out. Now, basically here into this, you'll be not able to see any difference because that is the same. First of all, the title has came here, that is tip versus smoker that I had given out, right? Now, let's say I hover on any of the bars. So now just have a look at what is the information that I'm getting. Let me just click on the some light color so that actually you are able to see. This green is okay. So I'm getting the day, that day is Thursday. What about the tip? So tip is 2, smoker is yes, size is 2, gender is female, total bill is 13, and the time is lunch. These are all the information which I'm getting. I'm getting here the information regarding the total 7 columns. And yes, this is the count of our column which we are actually having. Just have a look that we are in actually having all the total 7 columns here. Right, so this horizontal bar chart is giving us the information of our whole data which we were having, right? Because it has covered all the columns, it has covered all the rows as well. So it is giving me the information regarding each and every particular column which I am having into my data set. So yeah, this is a very much informative plot, right? Because this is what we actually want out. We want that whenever we are plotting out any plot, so that particular plot should give us the knowledge regarding all of the things which we are having, right? All of the columns which we are having. So this is what it is giving me. So it is a best way, like best use for making out this particular plot, right? So hope it is got that how we can make out the horizontal bar plot. So simply the difference is orientation is equal to h. Now if I just remove this as well, so it will again automatically and by default become out my vertical bar plot which we had already plotted above. Right, so hope it has got the idea very much clearly that how we make out the horizontal bar charts. Right, so this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So into the previous video, we had seen regarding the horizontal bar chart, right? This was just 1 second. So yeah, this was the plot which we had made into the previous video, right? Now, today in this particular video, we are gonna understand regarding the box plots. Okay, now this box plot is actually one another plot. Now, what is the information which it actually gives us? So, box plot actually mainly tells us about 5 things. Whenever we make out a box plot, so into that there are total 5 things which we can understand from that particular box plot. First one is basically the smallest value. Second one is the first quartile. Then we have the median, or we call it as second quartile. Then we have the third quartile. And at last we have the largest value. So these are the 5 things which we can understand from the box plot. And even box plot lets us know about that basically do we have outliers present onto our data or not. Outliers are basically the unwanted data. Let's say whatever the data points you are having into your data that are ranging from 1 till 100. Okay, now there are few data points which are greater than 500. Your normal range for the data point is 1 till 100. But there are some few data points which are ranging above 500. So that are actually which we call as unwanted data, because whatever is the range of my data, I would be wanting that particular data points only. Right? This is the idea. So that particular is called as the outliers. This is what we call as the unwanted data into a particular data set. Right, hope you just understand out this idea and how we see out the largest, how we see out the smallest, median, first quartile, third quartile, that I'll be discussing whenever we had made out the box plot, right? So first of all, let's try to make out the box plot. After that, we'll be discussing rest of the things. So what was the variable in the previous which I had taken? That was data underscore tip. So I'm just using that particular variable only. Right, so here I'll be using, okay, I've write here fig is equal to px dot, and here we're writing box. Okay, box is basically the function which we actually use out for making the box. But above that, let me just put on the like heading also, because I haven't put that thing till now. So here we go with the box plot and hit enter. Fine, so this is how. So fig is equal to px dot box. Inside the bracket, first of all, I would be writing that basically what is the variable in which I have stored my data. So that is data underscore tip, right? Putting out a comma. What you want to give onto the x and what you want to give onto the y. Let's say on x, I want to give here as a smoker. Okay, and let's say on y, I want to give here as okay, PIP. Fine. What about my color? So let's say color I want to give out here as let's say I'll be taking here time because we're having two times dinner or basically the lunch, right? So I just put on that thing. After that we have one more feature also, but I'm just not gonna add that right now. As soon as we had made out this plot, after that I'll be adding that out. Okay. So after that I'll be simply writing fig.show and try to run this out here. Fine. Now just look on my like box plot which is actually appearing. This is how a box plot actually looks like. Okay, so on to the x-axis you are having no and yes. So that no and yes are basically the smoker values, right? Let me just okay, let me just close this up right here and fine. And onto the y, what you are having? Onto the y you are having the tip column which we had actually taken out. This is how the box plots look like. I have taken a smoker and I have taken the color as time. So time is dinner and lunch. So blue one is basically for the dinner and red one is basically for the lunch. Now when you hover, you get a lot of details regarding this, right? That we'll be seeing in a little while what are all of these things. But before that, have a look that these are which we call as outliers. Okay, these are which we call as outliers. These dots which you are able to see, these are the unwanted data into your data set which actually you are having. And this is what is called as outlier. Right. Let me go on to the one note here. Okay, so here it is written for the box plot, right? Let me just quickly take out a color as well from here, a highlighter. And okay, this one, let's take it out. Fine. Let me come down. So these are the 5 things which are actually visible. Smallest, first, and then we have the median, that is the second quartile. We have the third quartile, and we have the largest value. Right, these are the things which we are actually having out here. After this, what are these and how we just display them out? Let me come down. Okay, what are the quartiles? Quartiles are numbers that separates the data into quarters. Okay, that basically helps to separate the data into quarters. That is called the quartile. Now, the data, okay, the data which we have taken, it is the particular data. This one is the data, okay? This is particular which is written here, this particular all the things. This is the data which I had taken. Finding out the median, you all know the between values are taken and divided by 2. So that I have done, that is the 7. For finding the quartiles, so first of all we take at the lower half of the data, and at the second place we take the upper half of the data. So from the lower half of the data, whatever the value is in the between, that is your first quartile. And from the lower half data, whatever is your between value, let's say here the lower half data is 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 4, 6, and this is 6.8. So in between, which is the between value which is coming? That is 2, right? Because here it is 6.8. 2 is the middle value. So from that middle value, this 2 is basically your first quartile. Now when you take out the upper half of the data, first you have taken the lower half, right? That now taking the upper half. So in that case as well, whatever will be the middle value, that will be your third quartile. So here we have the third quartile as 9. right? Now here, understand, this is how a box plot looks like, right? Now, the smallest value is your 1. So whenever your box plot starts, the first point where your box plot is starting, that is your smallest value. So here into this particular plot, your smallest value is 1. The middle, from where this rectangular box starts, so the first line for this rectangular box is your first quartile. Okay. Then in between you are able to see one straight line that can be at any place. That is your median, your second quartile. After that, the closing line of the rectangular box, that is your third quartile. And the last line which is present and the last point of that particular line is your largest value. Okay, let me go on here. Here the line which you are able to see here. Now just have a look. That minimum, it is telling you 1. After that, it is telling you Q1, that is your quartile, is 2. Then it is telling you median is 3, right? Then Q3, that is quartile 3, that is 3.71. Then it is telling you that the upper value is actually 6, right? So this is how a bar plot gives you the information. Now you can have a look at the line, the middle line which is in between the, for the smoke and no, for the dinner and lunch, the middle line is actually different from each other, right? At the blue color it is upper side and into the red color it is downside. Why it is so? Because the median differs for each and every data points which you are having. Right, you will never find all of these things same and equal to each other because of the median of the data. Right, so this is how you can convey out all of the knowledge regarding this particular box plot. Fine. First down line is your minimum, then you have the quartile 1, then you have the median, then you have the quartile 3, and then you have the maximum value. Okay, now what I would just do here is that I'll be taking some different columns actually. Okay, let's say onto the X I'll be taking here as day, and let's say onto the Y, let's say I'll be taking here as total underscore bill, and I'll be plot this out. Fine, so that I'll be just getting out here. This is for the day and the total underscore bill. Color is time. Okay, for the time, let me change it from time to smoker. Fine, so here I'll be getting the information regarding all the 4 days, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday and Friday. Now just hover out, you'll be getting each and everything, right? Now that you can understand it on your own. After that, I have one feature here that is notched, N-O-T-C-H-E-D. Now this is one type of subplot which comes under the bar plot. This notched is one parameter, one feature which is in here. Right now you are able to see the box plots into the rectangular shape, right? The boxes which are present here, these are in rectangular shape. As soon as I write notched is equal to true, so that box plot, now this box which you are able to see, that will be coming into the shape of a notch. Let me write here notched is equal to true, and now when I just run it out, now the shape of these boxes will actually change out. Now just have a look, see the shape has been changed, right? So this is basically how this notched as well made out. So notched is equal to true. Fine, so you can just change out the shape of these box plots as well according to your choice, whatever you just want to wish out. Right, so hope you just got a very clear idea regarding that how we make out the box plots and how are the box plots actually made out, right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So into the previous video, we had seen that how we can make out the box plot, right? We had discussed about the box plot in a very detailed way, that what are the details that the box plot gives us and how we can just make that out. Now into this today's particular video, we are going to discuss regarding the histogram. Now actually histogram is one another type of plot which actually you can actually make out, right? Let me just write out here first of all the text for that. So text, and here comes the bold, here comes the comment and name for my plot, that is histogram. Okay, the spelling is wrong, that is single I, not double, histogram. Now it's absolutely okay. So histogram is one another kind of plot. Now into that you have some okay, there is one parameter which is marginal. Okay, now that marginal parameter actually consists of some different things which you actually have into this particular plot. As soon as we proceed on with the code, I would let you know regarding that marginal thing as well, that how it differs, what are the other things which you can add on to that, right? So data underscore tip was the variable which we had taken out for like reading out that data of the tip. So I'll be making out this plot onto the same data set, which is tips data set. Okay. Fine. So I would just simply write out here fig. I would just not again and again import out the data. If you just want, you can do that. But yeah, it's not that much compulsory and it's not that much good practice to repeat out the same thing again and again, so as it makes your code look larger as well. And even this is not a good practice, right? So do not do that thing again and again. Once you have imported your data and imported out your libraries, so there is no need to do that thing again and again in each and every code. Okay. Fig is equal to px dot histogram. Px is basically the short form for that plotly.express library that we had already taken out, and histogram is basically my histogram which I am gonna make out today. Fine. The variable was data underscore tip, in which we had put on the final data, right? In which we had read out the data for the tips. Data underscore tip was put up that particular variable. Okay. Now basically what I'll be doing here is that I'll be giving the value for the x, right? So basically we'll be giving out the values for the x and the y here. So okay, just one second. Yeah, for x, what I could just give, we can give out any of the column according to us. Let's say onto the x I will be giving here as let's say I'll be giving here as tip. Okay, let that be total underscore bill. On histogram we always give out the numericals only. It would not take out the categoricals here. Fine. So onto the x I have given total underscore bill. What about the y? So for y I could just write here as tip, TIP. Okay. Fine. And okay, I would not write anything else here because that all the things I would be adding line by line, and that is big dot show. Now when I run this out, right here, so just have a look that this is how the histogram actually looks like. We have the count of the tip onto the y-axis, and onto the x we have the total bill. Okay, so as soon as you go over the things, it will let you know regarding the count of the count of tip and the total bill. But yeah, this plot is not that much informative, right? Because why would we why would we want to compare between the tip and the total bill? Like if we just take any particular gender, or we take any particular smoker, or we take any particular day, then it would be a little bit of useful for us to clarify that for what we are actually doing. But for for comparing between the tip and the total bit, it's not that much informative, right? So what I would just do, I'll be putting out a comma, and here I'll be taking the color. So color is equal to, and for the color I would be giving here as day. Okay, I will be taking the color as day. Now here you will be getting out the histogram into 4 different colors, that is Sunday, Saturday, Thursday and the Friday. So blue one is basically your Sunday, red one is your Saturday, the green one is your Thursday, and the purple one is your Friday. So from the starting of all the plots, we are actually analyzing that the blue one is the purple one is actually the very less thing which you are actually having. So let's remove out the rest of the, as we already know that we do this thing, right? So this is how your Friday one is coming out. If I go for the Thursday, so see, Thursdays are well coming. Now if I just put on Sunday, so this is for the Sunday, and yeah, this one is for the Saturday, right? This is how we just get out the things. So this one is absolutely okay. Now I was telling you about that we have some different features to put onto this as well, right? So what I would just do, I'll be putting out a comma, marginal. Okay, marginal. Now first one which we'll be doing here is that RUG, marginal, is equal to rug. Okay, this is one another feature which we can add out. Now if I just run this out, now previously you were able to see that here nothing was coming, right? Nothing was appearing above this histogram. But as soon as I wrote marginal is equal to rug, so one another thing is appearing above this particular histogram which we had plotted out. So this is basically one another informative thing. So see, as soon it is basically totally plotted according to the histogram only, where only red color is there, only red line is there, where green and red are there, so green is actually purple is there, then about the green and purple, blue, red, green, purple, everything is actually here right now. But that much is like the margin is equal to rug is not that much informative. I would remove this out, and in place of this I could write here box as well. Now, as soon as I wrote out here as box, now have a look. This is a little bit more informative, right? So here you will be again getting out all of the details. That is the minimum, your quartile 1, your median, your quartile 3, your upper fence, and at last your maximum. So that is here for each and every day you could just get this particular thing. Right, so for Friday, for Thursday, for Saturday, and even for the Sundays, because these are the 4 colors which we have taken, right? On the color we had put all of these 4 things. So according to that only you are getting out here. Now let's see if I just change out the color to the smoker. So in that case you'll be having only 2, that is blue and red. So you will be getting about blue and red only your box plot. Okay, so let me now just go above here. Yeah, now instead of box we have one third thing, that is a violin. So I would just write here violin. Okay, so now let's run it out. So now here you would be able to see out the violin plot. So this is how the violin plot actually looks like, right? So again into this as well you will be getting out all the information, that is minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 2. Here you have some another, that is the X, the KDE as well. You have upper fence and you have the maximum value. Okay, so these are the things which you are getting here from this particular violin plot, and these dots are actually your outliers. The outliers you are able to see in the violin plot as well, right? So this is how the marginal is actually like does. After that, when we hover on the histogram, we get only 3 things, that is day, total bill, and the count of tip that we had taken. Let's say I want the data regarding all the columns which I am having as soon as I hover on any of the histogram. So in that case, I want the data regarding all the columns which I am having into this particular data set. So I could put out a comma and write here hover underscore data is equal to, and I could just write here df dot columns. Okay, the d would actually remain small for the data, and here we go. And now I would just try to run this out. Okay, so what it is, value of hover underscore data, just let me see, had I made out some. Okay, df is not the one, we will be taking data underscore tip. Okay, I'm sorry, data underscore tip, because this is the variable in which we had put on the things, right? Fine. Now, okay, one another thing I had missed out, that is not called. Okay, so data underscore hover underscore data is equal to data underscore tip dot, and here we have columns. That is absolutely okay. And after that even I have the fig dot show, right? So as soon as I hover on the data, I'm getting day, total bill, count of day. But where is the rest of the columns which we are having? Let me just go above and check that out. So data underscore tip, where is that particular thing? They just come down. So box plot is done actually, where we had put on that particular horizontal one we had put on, right? So this is the data underscore tip. Let's run it out here once again. And after that, let's try running this plot for the histogram. And here I would be just running this out. Fine. Let's see. So it's giving me day and the things. Let me just go ahead and make that thing. So hover underscore data is equal to data underscore tip dot columns. Okay, so fig dot show is as well done. So data underscore tip HOVER. Okay, let's make it from a violin to another anything. Let's try that for any other one as well. So we'll be doing out that particular thing. Fine, so it is giving me for the, okay, let me just go up. Yeah, right here it shows onto the like marginal which you are giving out, not onto the histogram, but yeah, it shows onto the marginals which are present. So see here for the rug, what I'm having D, the total bill, the tip, the gender, the smoker, the time, and the lunch as well, and the size actually. So if I just, instead of this, I would just make here is again as box, and now I would just run this out. Yeah, actually it does not gives onto the histogram. It only and only gives onto the marginal which you have taken. So here the marginal which we have taken we are having. So now just have a look: day, total bill, tip, gender, smoker, time, and the size. Right, so these are some of the like all the columns which we are having onto the data, and these are all the things which are present onto this particular column. Right, so hope you just got the idea that how we can make out the histogram and how we can make out the histograms more informative than the previous histograms which are made onto the other libraries, right? And how you can add some another features like marginal and analyze the data in many other forms, right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care. Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So till now we had made a lots of plot in the Plotly library, right? We had made the histograms, we had made out the box plots, we had made the line plots, right? We had made out the pie chart, scatter plot, bubble plot, like many things we had made out till now. But what is the thing in all of these plots which we had made out? So the thing is that these are only single plots. Single plot, I mean that let's say you just wrote out the total bill and day. So here you are able to find out between the total bill and day whatever the hover data. In some cases you were able to give out the hover data, and in some cases you were not able to give out the hover data, right? That totally depends on to the particular plots, that what kind of plot actually you are having, right? Absolutely. So here now in today's plot, today we are gonna make one another plot, and that's actually a little bit different from rest of the plots which we had already made out. Now what's the difference into that plot? The difference is that now here you could give any n number of that. Let's say you just wanted a plot between that these all the 3 or 4 columns. So you can just give between all of those 3 or 4 columns, and at one single go it will display you the plot for all of those particular columns which you are actually gonna give out, right? So this is the one of the good things regarding the plot which we are going to make out today, right? So what I just do is that first of all let me put out a name for that, and that is scatter underscore matrix, and like this, right? So scatter underscore matrix, this is basically the name of the plot which we are actually gonna make out, right? Now there's nothing too much different in this plot. We'll be simply reading out the data, and that only we'll be using out, okay? So I could just write here import plotly.express import plotly.express as px. Now why I am just writing out here, because instead of I do not want to run out my all the graphs from the starting, okay? Because like these whenever I just now if I need to run out this scatter underscore matrix, what I'm just going to write out here, I need to run out all of the above, because these are not run out actually. The time for them running is actually got out. Fine. So instead of doing all of that stuff, so I'm just simply importing out the library and simply using out my importing out my data as well. Now here as well it comes to your choice totally, that do you want to import out this data, or basically if you are just like writing and making the plots in one single go, in that case basically you do not need to write out this particular line. But yeah, if you have taken out the break and you do not want to run out the plots from the above, so you can just simply write here and run that out, okay? So import plotly.express as px, and data is equal to px dot, okay, data dot, and my data which I'm going to use out here is data, and I would put out the bracket, like, and it's the time for running this out. I would even print out the head as well, so data dot head, so that I just do not need to go again and again above and see out the columns, right? Okay, so yeah, head is as well completed out here. Now what are the categoricals, like how many total categoricals I'm having onto my data set? There's total 4 categoricals I'm having, right? And the numericals I am having here are 3. So this is scatter underscore matrix. This is totally made upon the numerical ones only. You can give the categorical into the color, but directly for the x or the y axis you cannot give out here the categorical column. So make sure to remember that particular thing, right? So I would just write here fig is equal to, I would write px dot scatter underscore matrix, like this, okay? And I would put out the bracket. So always the very first thing that we always do is that we put out the name of the variable in which we have read out our data, right? So that is actually data only for us. Let me go above data, just one second, data comma. Now basically what do I have? I have one parameter here, that is dimensions. Actually what we will be doing here is that we will not be giving x and y axis differentiately out onto the x. I'll be putting some column, onto the y I'll be putting some column. It's not that case. Whatever the dimensions I am gonna give right here, so that much number of plots I'll be getting out. Okay, so let's say I entered 3 columns. So 3 multiplied by 3 and I would be getting out here total 9 plots. Hope you got the idea, right? This is the idea. Let's say I'll be writing here my column name as total underscore bill. Second column I'm having here as dip, and let's say third column I'm having here as size. So first plot which will be made out is between total bill and tip. Second would be between total bill and size. It would be like tip and total bill, tip and size and total bill and tip and size. Right, so like this way there will be total 3 cross 3 plots, that is total 9 plots. They would be plotting it out. Okay, right. So the column names I have given out for whatever the columns I just want to plot it out, and I would just write here. Okay, let's not add that color parameter. That will be doing afterwards. So now fig dot show and put out the bracket. Now it's the time for running out the program. So as soon as we run it out, have a look that now these are all of the plots which I am getting right here. As I mentioned, that will be getting out total 9 plots. So yes, you are getting out that total 9 plots. Have a look, this and total 9 plots. Right. Now these plots are now how to study that, how are these plots actually plotted. So have a look. This is between the size and the total bill. This first plot which is actually plotted out here, this is between the size and the total bill. Second, you are having between the tip and the total bill, and third you are having between the total bill and total bill. So just have a look and just have a notice this thing carefully here, that whatever the middle graphs, like at this position 0, 0, 1, 1 and 2, 2, at these 3 positions, whatever the plots you are getting out, all the plots are having only straight lines. Now why is that so? Because these are the portions where a particular column is taken for the second particular column. So because here total bill is taken with the total bill, into the second one tip is taken with the tip, and in the third one size is taken with the size. Right, so this is the reason that why you are getting out the things like this. Right, now what I could just do here is that let me go above here. Let me come right here. Fine. After this, let me put out a comma, and here I could just now give out a color. Let's say I just wrote here as color is equal to, and first of all let me give here as, let's say, gender. Okay, I would just give out that particular thing and let's run it out. Now the plots and the dots which will be coming out, that will be in the 2 different colors. The blue one will be for the for the female, and the red one would be for the male. If I click on the red one and remove that out, so I'll be getting everything regarding the females, right? And if I just click on the male again, so now here I'll be getting a distribution for the males and even for the females. Right. So here I can just put out the color. Now let's say instead of gender, what I just put out color is, let's say, day. Okay, let's say put out the day. So now here we'll be getting out 4 different dots, right? So for the Sundays, for the Saturday, for the Thursday and for the Friday, because we are in total having 4 different days in our data set, right, which we actually have out. So according to that only, I am just getting here 4 different days: Sunday, Saturday, Thursday and Friday, right? So this is basically how we make out the scatter underscore matrix plot, right? Now this one is as well useful for us, because whatever numericals you are having here, you can see out the plot for any of the numerical here, and for the color and for more extra knowledge you can just add on any of the categoricals according to your choice as well, right? And even when I just hover over any of the data, it will actually give me the same as it was giving me the previously, And for the plotting between the categoricals and the numericals and the numerical, this is the best way, because here whatever are the numericals and okay, whatever the number of columns you are gonna write here, that much number of columns, like that much number of plots you are gonna get here. Let's say you wrote 5 here. So just square, just double out the 5. Double out 5 means multiply it by 2. So you will be getting here as 10. Right? So in case you are having 5 numerical columns, if you just wrote that out, you will be getting out 10 different plots according to that only. Right? Now this condition which I mentioned is the same only, that it should only and only be the numerical. Categoricals are not allowed while giving out the value. For the categoricals, what you can do, you can just use out the color, and into that color parameter you can give out any categorical according to your choice. Right? So hope this thing is very much like clear to you, that what you can do and what you cannot do. Right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.